Football Update. It's with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. It is Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. College football update, and that means I'm with my guy, host of Restoring the Roar, Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Not too much, man. Excited to go over some of these games we saw. That triple overtime masterpiece between Arizona, given everything they got to USC, and Red River rivalry went the opposite way of what I said. Really good games this past weekend, though.
Yeah. And they did not disappoint at all. I mean, all the way up and down the list, with the exception of maybe one. Week 6 scoreboard, we're going to go right into it, touch on the top 25. And there's one undisputed team in this country. And I know you guys you're right there, but they're still on that
right.
The Georgia Bulldogs again make people like me look silly to even question their dominance. And you know what I thought about this? I mean, they killed Kentucky 51-13. But Alex, one of the things that I saw in this game, you said it last week. If you start slow against the Kentucky team and let them be able to control the clock and run the ball, that's going to be an issue. Well, they must have listened because they started very fast. Yep. Carson Beck just started taking their top off the defense.
Yeah, they did everything in their power to just end that game early, and they really did. That game was essentially over in the first quarter. I mean, if you look at it, too, as much as we said that Georgia was kind of sleepwalking their way through, they did the same thing last year. They sleptwalked through Missouri, barely survived, and then as they started to get later in the season, you just saw them start to click. I mean, they dominated Tennessee. Once they got to about the halfway point, which is where we're getting now, they just started rolling people. So that might be the case again this year. We'll wait and see, but that's a very good Kentucky team that they steamrolled on Saturday.
Yeah, undefeated coming into this game. That Kentucky team was the great white hope for a lot of us, man. We were like, hey, is this it? Is this it? Could Ray Davis do it? But you know what? One of the things that all of us were talking about that we kind of had an issue with, not even an issue, but just kind of we wanted to see more from was that quarterback, Carson Beck. He had almost 400 yards in this game, and I thought this was a statement for him, a statement game. Like you said, going up 14-21 early, there were shades of Stetson Bennett. He looked that good. You know?
Yeah, this was far and away his best game. It's not close. I mean, for him to, like you said, just throw the ball essentially at will, do whatever he wanted to do. I mean, he only 28-35, 4 touchdowns, did have the pick, but yeah, almost 400 yards, QBR of 95.6, even with that interception. Phenomenal game by Carson Beck. And this is the game everyone has been waiting to see from this kid. Everyone was like, is this really the guy that's going to lead them back to a national championship? And if you look at this past Saturday, the answer is a pretty resounding yes, that he is that guy.
Absolutely. But now, if you were to ask PJ Fleck, he'd say there is one team in this country that is extremely deep and, in his opinion, the best team in the country. And look, Minnesota, they showed up to the stadium, but that's about it. 52-10, Alex. This was never in question. I mean, we talk about statement wins. I mean, come on, that's a flex for Michigan, baby. What's up?
And I mean, like, we're starting to get to the point of Michigan playing some real teams. So it's exciting to see. I mean, I know you'll remember this from a couple weeks ago. We had the whole thing where Misador was saying we didn't play anybody and all that. So I fired back this past weekend of it took 5 games for us to allow more points than you did to Boston College, but which it took 5 games for us to give up 30 points. Through 6 games, we've given up 40. We haven't allowed a first and goal. Like, we haven't allowed an and goal situation. Nobody's been inside our 10. They've scored touchdowns, obviously, but our defense has scored more touchdowns than they've given up. And I think the most impressive thing for me, and it goes in line with what Fleck was saying, is most of these games this year, we've gone 3, 4, sometimes even 5 guys deep at positions, and they're still succeeding and doing very well. Like, we went three quarterbacks deep and still throwing the ball at will, throwing passing touchdowns. Denegal looked really good. This offensive line looks to be a front runner again for that Joe Moore Award, which we've won the back-to-back years. The running game's starting to click. Edwards is starting to wake up. This Michigan team is extremely deep. Now they just need to put it together when it matters. We've done it when it matters in the regular season. Now it's just got to come playoff time.
Oh yeah. And one thing I am noticing, man, is that offense has incredible balance to it. You know, it's not just the run game. You have Edwards, you have Corum, and they're both eating. But J.J. McCarthy's also getting it out there. And you're seeing not just Wilson, but you're seeing multiple receivers start to, step up and really become a threat, man. And then you, like you said, the depth of the team with that strong defense, that O-line holding things together. Hey, yeah, you guys are far and away, in my opinion, up there. You're on that mission to get back to where you need to get to. But like you said, now it's starting to get a little colder and the games are starting to get a little tougher. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens going on. But, hey, going down the list, Red River Rivalry, the last ever Red River Rivalry. And, Alex.
I think that's the Big 12 championship game. I feel like that's pretty clear. These two are far and away the top 2 teams in the Big 12, no question.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something. You and I both were horns up Texas. I mean, we thought they were not far and away, but it was more that Oklahoma hadn't played anybody. Yeah. And if there was one team that came and showed how tough they were, it was OU in this ball game.
Yeah, and they did a perfect job taking advantage of the Texas mistakes. Ewers had the 2 picks. I believe he lost a fumble as well. He did. But they turned those into scores. Texas gave them the ball with a little too much time left. And to me, I thought they made a mistake not using the timeouts on that last drive that Oklahoma did. Because you let them run so much time down. You got the ball back with, 6 seconds left, something like that? Able to get to midfield and then throw a bomb down the field. But even if you give up that touchdown, if you use the timeouts, you're getting close to 30 seconds left where you can use the sideline, you can get out of bounds and progress yourself down the field to where you might actually get a 20 to 30 yard play instead of a 50 to 60 yard play to win you the game. So I thought that was poor management by Sarkisian, but overall, I mean, even Ewers with the 2 picks and the fumble, still only 6 incompletions, was very, very efficient. 31 to 37, just under 350 yards and a touchdown. But those 2 picks killed them. I definitely expect this to be the Big 12 championship game, and I really do expect the winner to go to the playoff. I think these 2 teams are both playoff caliber teams, and especially if Oklahoma continues to run the table, they'll get in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're far and away the top 2 teams in the Big 12.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, hey, they're also making a statement. We know they're going to the SEC next year. But, yeah, I agree with you, man. And I really love what I saw. Dillon Gabriel just under 300 yards. But he was one of those that I think people wanted to see. Can you play a big game like this? Can you come in and be that guy? We've seen a number of OU quarterbacks do it. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. Recently, who did it 2 years ago? Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams came in
and the whole Spencer Rattler thing. Yeah. So this is one of those games that can really make you as a quarterback. And we saw what Dillon Gabriel did. He was tough in this one, and I liked what I saw from him.
Yeah, and I mean, if you listen to the broadcast, they were talking about how when Gabriel decided to come to Oklahoma, this was the main reason why, to play in games like this, the big time matchups against Texas, and he was so upset that he didn't get to play last year.
Yep.
So he came in and laid it all on the line in this game, got them the win right at the end of the game, played phenomenal. I was very impressed with how he played.
Yeah. So definitely, hey, love what I saw from him, but I definitely agree that OU is that caliber. So I don't think Texas falls that far, and they will meet again in that Big 12 championship. Let's go on down the list on a game that you were personally invested in. You had your eye on it most of the day, and for most of the game, Maryland was holding tough, man. They gave Ohio State everything they can handle, but unfortunately, like in years past, they give you everything they can handle for a half, and then it just kind of falls off. Ohio State took it over late, and I expected this, but I'm glad. I was really hoping Maryland was going to do it for Nathan as well as for us.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, this doesn't show me anything about Ohio State. It really doesn't, because Maryland beat themselves in this game. When they started the game off, they were running the ball, pounding the rock, and using the passing game off of that. And it was working. They were flying down the field. Ohio State had no answer defensively. And then Talia throws that first pick, and then all of a sudden they just go full air raid and just completely abandon the run, which confused me so much. But I mean, even going in to the fourth quarter, you were only down 3. It was 2017 Ohio State. They were pressuring McCord all day. That Ohio State offensive line is not good right now. Yeah. They got a lot of problems to fix, both in communication just between the 5 guys and just the overall performance. The execution is very lacking right now for them. I do actually think their defense is well above average this year for Ohio State. It's one of the better defenses in college football. They're playing very well, but that secondary can still be exposed. Yeah. I think I still believe Penn State's going to beat these guys. I really do.
Well, hey, we're going to see. That's going to be a great game. One thing we do know, Marvin Harrison Jr. did what he needed to do today, over 150, 8 receptions, and got himself in the end zone once, man. So, hey, shout out to him, because that's one of the things McCord knows. If I get him the ball, we will have success. But I think this was about, like you said, Maryland's issues, but that Ohio State defense, once they started turning it up a little bit, it was one of those, we're not ready for Maryland. You know, Talia, he was doing the best he could when they were running, but things just started changing, man. Once that momentum switched, man.
Well, and 2 things were true from this game. Maryland is the 4th best team in the Big Ten. Yep. But there is still a sizable gap from the top 3 to everyone else.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yo, we got to move on. I had to adjust my hat because for the first week in a while, Alex, it wasn't close. I didn't have to sweat late in the game. I didn't have to have my quarterback. I liked it. Hey, 4-1 Syracuse came we played, and they came to see us, North Carolina, undefeated, and we put it on them, man. 40-7. Drake May looked like that number 2 pick, over 400 yards, putting it all in the air. Obviously, we saw our guy Devontae Walker on the field. He came back, didn't do that much. He had one pass that was almost got him. He still has 6 receptions for 40 yards, but he had one pass that was just over his fingertips where he could have got a touchdown, but wasn't able to get it. But look, this game was one of those get-right games. Martin Hampton had over 70 yards. Nate McCullum is one of our receivers that's kind of distancing himself from the other guys. He had 7 receptions for over 100. Kobe Passour also had over 100 yards receiving, man. Drake is distributing the ball. He's getting it to everybody. He's efficient, not throwing any interceptions. And you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, I know you guys have this at Michigan all the time, but we got to bring in our backups, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, man. I enjoyed it. I got to relax and just coast to the second half. I liked it, man. I liked it.
Yeah, that's another thing with Michigan. Our starters have not touched the fourth quarter yet.
Ooh, Say, hey, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
I almost kind of like your situation better though, because our guys aren't used to playing a full 60 minutes yet. So
that's true. We've been
and
there.
I will say about North Carolina, I think it's a little disrespectful to have you guys outside the top 10 right now. I really do.
Yeah.
I think you guys are better than Alabama. I think you guys are better than USC.
Yes.
And I would put you guys at 9, one spot above Texas. With that loss, I think they should drop to 10. I would put you guys at 9. I think the 12 is a little disrespectful, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I mean, I guess they're going from the history and they saw what happened last year. But, I mean, this team this year is more complete. I mean, we have Drake. We know about that. But we have a solid running game in Omarion Hampton and British Brooks. Then we have these receivers that are starting to come in with Walker. Like I said, 6 receptions in his first game back.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get this game going. But our defense is complete. That D-line is one of the top ones in the land. And you start getting that secondary and those linebackers on the same page, guys that have been playing in the system for a little bit. Yeah, we're going to be all right, but you have to start winning those games. You got to start beating Clemson if you play them, or Florida State in the ACC championship. We can't lay an egg later down the season like we did last year. So that's what we'll be judged on. But as long as we got Drake, baby.
For a few more months.
Oh God, I can't with you. Don't do this. haven't I dealt with enough with my daggone Washington Commanders? Golly. Oh, yo, but look, so we look at some of these games, those are the top 5 and then North Carolina, but there was a number of upsets, man. There were some upsets that definitely went down and it was in the top 25. And one of the ones that you and I, again, another one where we picked elsewhere just because we did not know if we can believe in this team. Louisville, number 25, Louisville gets the upset on Notre Dame. Woo! So, hey, I think can we say now Louisville's for real?
Yep, I'm taking my fraud tag off them. I am. I think that's a big time win. They had Sam Hartman flustered. He did not play well on Saturday. 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. I'm pretty sure that's more than he's thrown the entirety of the year. And 44 yards rushing for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I saw under 50 yards rushing from a Notre Dame football team. That is wild. Louisville brought it, man. They were ready for this game. Props to them. Where did they move up to in the rankings? 14. I don't hate that 11 spot jump.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I don't hate that at all.
Ooh, okay. Yo, hey, and Jahar Jordan, I gave him my game ball a couple weeks ago, and like I said that week, he's a game breaker, and he's that running game for Louisville sets up that pass. He had 21 carries for over 140 yards and 2 TDs. And I, over at Louisville, the head coach is Jeff Brom, used to play for the team. I think the OC is Brian Brom, his brother. There's a whole Brom community in there, and hey, they are resurrecting that team. I'm not sure that I've seen Louisville with this much attention since, I got to go back to the Lamar Jackson days.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say Malik Cunningham didn't give them this kind of attention. So, yeah, it's absolutely back to that Lamar Heisman season. It's the last time they've had this kind of attention, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I kind of believe this.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And,
it's going to be really interesting to see the quarterback situation for both those teams. Because that's 2 borderline elite football teams. And with big holes to fill at quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to be interesting if it's guys already there, if it's incoming freshmen, is it transfer guys?
Right.
Like it's going to be really interesting to see how UNC and FSU fill their quarterback spots next year.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. You want to see Drake do so well, but then at the same time, it's like, can you please just suck for a little bit? Please, just give it a little doubt.
And I'm kind of the same with JJ, but then we have that 5-star coming in next year where I'm like, okay, but you can go like as much as I want you to stay. Go have your success, and then just like bring the 5-star and like let's run it back.
Right. No, and to my, to our credit, we had Sam Howell, who was solid, even though that last year we didn't have as many weapons. But then we immediately did go to Drake May, so that was great. And you're getting that. Hopefully, we can find somebody that can do that. But look, speaking of quarterbacks that will not be there next year and teams that will suffer because of that, we got to go to one of the closest games in this day. 43-41, Arizona narrowly keeps getting that upset over USC, man. Woo!
That was such a fun game. I watched that game like from start to finish. Oh my God. That was such a fun game. That epitomizes how bad USC's defense is.
Yes.
But I mean,
come on.
Arizona's quarterback though, Noah Fifita.
Come on.
We're going to have to start remembering this name, recognizing this kid, because he was awesome. True freshman. 18-year-old kid, his second start.
What?
And he goes in 25 of 35, 303 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Wow.
And then another 12 yards on 9 carries. But phenomenal game by Fifita to go toe-to-toe with the number 1 pick in next year's draft, the best overall player in college football, to make him have to literally, there were so many times where they'd pan over the sidelines and Caleb Williams is just drained. He's exhausted. He's over it.
Yeah.
And then USC will come back on the field and they'll pan over to Fifita and he's fine.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. But Caleb, he had to do it himself, essentially.
Yeah.
14 of 25, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. But then 12 carries for 41 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Oof.
And some of the shots he took, man, were wild. I was surprised they were letting a quarterback get hit like that. Now, he was taking off and running when he was taking most of those hits, but there were some where I was like, good God, that is wild. Marshawn Lloyd had a good game. Brendan Rice, just under 100 yards on 4 receptions. He showed up again. It's going to be interesting to see
I love seeing
how long until USC's defense gives up a game. And it might be Notre Dame. It might be Oregon. It might be Washington. I think Oregon and or Washington are going to take USC. They might lose both those games. And it depends what Sam Hartman we get for that Notre Dame game this week.
That's true. But with USC, honestly, they live and die off of the heroics of Caleb Williams. And their defense getting at least a stop. Their defense, because that's really all it's been. It's been holding them from, just bend but don't break. You can bend all the way, but just do not break at the end and give Caleb the opportunity. But I agree with you on this one. I think Notre Dame could get that W against USC because all you need is somebody. If you can get somebody to contain Caleb Williams, man, or get him to throw an interception or two, that would be the difference. What up? What it do, fellas? Who was this?
I'm not sure.
Let me see.
I was thinking,
what's
Anthony.
going on, Colin?
Oh, it's Colin. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
I figured it was one of those two.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, we shouted you guys out. We showed love. Got to Carson Beck. Got to show him love, man. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Talking about top players in Heisman. Obviously we know Caleb and Drake May, and we know Marvin Harrison Jr. You're here, Colin. Let's go ahead and say it. Brock Bowers, man, top 5 player in this country.
Oh,
you need to go ahead, give him his ticket to New York already because he is well worth it. Over 100 yards again in this game. And look, defenses have tape on this guy. They see what he can do, but if you can't stop him, it don't matter.
Well, and it's like, I mean, I said this jokingly on Saturday, but it seems like literally the only way you can stop him is put 5, 6, 7, 8 guys on him, and literally just have one-on-one matchups the rest of the way. But it's like it. Oh, there's that saying of it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to stop Brock Bowers. It takes everything a defense has, and it still doesn't get it done half the time. It's just he is insane.
Mm-hmm. And just it shows how great they are, man. It shows how great they are in that position. Having him, I love that. So we'll definitely see. Yo, there was a number of other ones. Do you have any ones that any games that kind of jumped off the page at you?
The last minute or so of one jumped out to me. Miami, Georgia Tech. Karma is a you know what.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my! And I said it when they handed the ball off first down. I was sitting at home with my parents watching the game. I was like, okay, well, maybe they're just getting the clock rolling so they can take their knees. They handed it off on second down. I was like, yeah, don't do this. Like I was like, Karma's going to bite you in the next play. The handoff, the fumble, which it looked like he was down, but it is what it is. And
you don't even want to give him that shot.
You should not have put them in that position. And the next play, a 44, 45, whatever it was, yard touchdown pass by Georgia Tech to end the undefeated streak for Miami. For me, it was Cristobal after the game in the post-game presser being like, yeah, I probably should have stepped in and had him take the knee. You think?
But yeah, really?
Like,
come on.
If I see
too
that
late now.
And to me, Joel Klatt said this perfectly too. If you're the quarterback, they're telling you to hand that ball off, just hold on to the ball and take that knee.
Take knee. Period.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Or he also said this, and I found it pretty funny. Act like you're gonna go like do the handoff and trip. Like
right.
Make sure that ball does not get handed off. Oh, it drove me up the wall. They got absolutely what they deserved with that.
Oh, absolutely. That's a bonehead decision or not decision to take the knee.
Yeah.
And the first thought that I had as soon as I saw him hand it off was the Miracle in the Meadowlands. Where's Herm Edwards picking up the loose ball? I mean, I was like, what are you doing? The game's over. Even the announcers are like, the game, just take a knee. What is he doing? He fumbles the ball. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That one shocked me the rest of the night. It really did. I'm watching the USC Arizona game, and I'm still like, why didn't he just take the knee? Like, I was still like, just like, oh, this is a great game, and just right back over to that game, like just thinking about it. Yeah, absolutely, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Completely. Well, look, we are going to go ahead and move on. We're going to give out our game balls. We appreciate all of you guys joining us. If you like what you're seeing, most of you guys, we're on Saturdays, but if you don't know, we are on Saturdays at 10 a.m. or around 10:30 just to preview all of that day's game. So tune in. We got week 7 coming up. But look, we're going to go ahead and give you our game balls before we get out of here. Week 6 is behind us. Game balls out. First game ball for week 6.
I mean, I mentioned him a little bit earlier, so I'll keep this short and sweet. I know he lost. Noah Fafita gets my game ball.
I love it.
Absolutely electric performance. Had the coach decided to go for 2 on that in the first overtime, they probably win it there. But he did everything it took to win that game, and they came up just short. But he absolutely deserves the game ball.
Oh, I love that. And Colin, I hope you are still here. I am not too proud to say when I was at least wrong for right now. I was
so horribly wrong.
Carson Beck showed us. He showed up and he showed out. And what I liked more is that when they started to have more of an up-tempo offense, he was ready for it. He had 389 yards. He had, 4 TDs, only 1 interception. But he looked more like a leader. There's one thing that Stetson Bennett had that even though, okay, he had deficient here, maybe he couldn't do this, maybe whatever, what have you, he led the team and it was an unquestioned leader. Carson Beck definitely looked like he took the lead in this game. And like we said earlier, it wasn't even close. Who else you got, Alex?
For me, I'm going back to my team, and I'm going in the trenches. For me, Mason Graham, the defensive tackle, was an absolute game wrecker. I mean, the stat sheet doesn't necessarily show it. 6 total tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, but he was in the quarterback's face the entire game, pushing the pocket from the middle. They couldn't run up the middle on us, which Minnesota's typically a run team. And he just absolute game breaker in the middle of that defensive line. So I want to show a big guy some love.
Oh, I like that. Absolutely. And I'm going to a game that we did not talk about, but I definitely mentioned this guy. Yeah, I mentioned this guy earlier. This was an upset. UCLA getting the W over Washington State. There was a running back in this game that transferred from Ball State, Carson Steele, 30 carries, 141 on the ground. And look, for a while, it looked like, he wasn't meshing in the system. It just wasn't working out. I really love that they gave him the ball 30 times and they made it a point that, hey, we're going to keep running you. And we saw what happened. This was a turnover ball game. So it's a game that you need to run the ball and just keep the ball, drain that clock. And they did it, got the W, upsetting number 13 at the time, Washington State. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I can dig it. Oh, yeah. Hey, right here. That's he said. Beck finally showed emotion. Hey.
Yep.
And this is the time y'all started really rolling, like Alex said, started really taking the tops off of teams and everything. So maybe here we go again. Another daggone year. Hey, we got the great White Hope in Michigan. Let's go, guys. Oh, me. But look, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to get out of here. We appreciate you guys joining us and being here with us. We want you guys to stay tuned after this. I think they just got started. Let's Talk Football, the round table. Nicholas Rosario, Anthony Handy, Delilah Crespo, and Tina Winter bring you the news and the notes of everything that went on this last week in the NFL. And my guy, where can they find you?
So you can find me tomorrow for Restoring the Roar. I got a couple of guests coming on to talk Lions-Bucks this weekend. NFL edition on Thursday. North Sports Dynasty most Fridays. And then back with you on Saturday morning.
Absolutely. What, real quick, before we get out of here, are there any games on tonight?
Oh, I forgot about that. What's our Maction going on tonight?
Exactly.
We got Louisiana Tech and Middle Tennessee State. 46 seconds left in the first half. 10-9 Middle Tennessee. Liberty Jacksonville State. That is a sneaky good game.
Absolutely.
10:43 to go in the second. It is 7-3 for Jacksonville State. And one more for tonight. Coastal Carolina at App State. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. 14-3 Coastal Carolina.
Oh, man.
Then tomorrow we got UTEP against FIU, Sam Houston, and New Mexico State. Thursday we got West Virginia, Houston, and SMU, East Carolina. Friday, Tulane, Memphis, Fresno State, Utah State, and Stanford, Colorado. And then we're back for Saturday.
Man. Let's go. So,
games every night.
Right. When we come back here Saturday, we'll definitely recap those games. Definitely see what happened to Colorado. A lot of games in that list. And then we'll be back probably. I don't know if Alec will be here. I know he said he might not be.
Yeah, I don't think he's here Saturday.
Oh yeah. So and it doesn't have to do with the fact that they're playing Washington. Are they playing Washington?
I cannot wait for that game. Yeah, Washington this week.
Can't wait. Let's do it. Let's go. Yo. So look, we're going to go ahead and let you guys go tune into all of the shows that my guy is on and the roundtable a little bit later. So for my guy, Mr. Alex Looseboer, It's your boy, Sean Spencer. We will see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
College Football Update. It's with your host, Sean Spencer. Hey.